Hey, what's happening? Chris Martinez here. I'm the host of Operation Agency Freedom, the absolute #1 podcast in the universe. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm very excited to talk about this topic. So we all hear about wanting to grow a 7-figure agency, and a lot of that is bullshit because a lot of people are like throwing in their ad spend and considering that to be revenue. And that's why they're saying that they're 7 figures when they're not. But I had this amazing opportunity last month to attend a in-person mastermind out in Miami. My good friend Josh Nelson runs this group, and I got to sit at the big kids table finally. So there were a lot of other multi-7-figure and 7-figure agencies in this group, probably the biggest concentration of 7-figure agencies that I've ever been a part of, at least. And I got to learn a lot, and I got to be underneath the hood of what they're doing because everybody's very transparent. And we were talking about what it means to have a 7-figure agency. And so the way that my mind works is I started to piece together these different puzzle pieces. And I've essentially got 5 things that I want to teach you guys today about what it means to have a 7-figure agency. So if you are struggling to get there to like that 7-figure mark, or you want to kind of figure out what tweaks you need to make in your agency so that you can get to 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, and 8 figures, then definitely pay attention to this episode because I'm going to tell you guys all about the 5 key takeaways that I got from that event in Miami. And of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you subscribe to our podcast because that's the way that you're going to get the latest updates when we drop every single episode. And then go to our website. You can see the show notes. Anything that I reference, we put that in the show notes on the website. Without further ado, let's jump into it. All right, welcome back. So as I was saying, last month, I had the opportunity to go out to Miami for a mastermind group. And let me tell you, I've been in every mastermind group, agency mastermind group on the planet. And I've just been so completely burned out by this because most of the gurus that are out there, they're full of shit. They're just trying to sell you their program or their like hack to get more sales. And that's where most of the gurus that are out there, there's a couple good ones, but the majority of them are just trying to teach people who don't know how to sell, right? How to get new customers. That's always going to be a focus, right? And I think a lot of agency owners out there, they like closing deals. We enjoy selling. Some folks don't have any sales training, no formal sales training. They never worked in sales. So that's a big challenge for them. But at the end of the day, sales is actually pretty easy for agencies if you can get results for clients. If a client is giving you $3,000 a month and you can consistently turn that into $30,000 in sales for them, that word spreads pretty quickly, especially if you're in a niche. So if you can get results for clients, then selling is actually a lot easier. And so, that's where these 7-figure and multiple 7-figure agencies, they have absolutely no problem closing deals. And the clients that we work with in general, even if they're not at that 7-figure mark yet, they don't have a problem closing deals. Like they know who their ideal client is. And if you stick them in a room full of, 100 of their ideal clients that are qualified, they're going to close 99 of them. So that's why one of the reasons why I gravitated towards this mastermind that my buddy Josh runs, and that I've just been so turned off by all the other ones. And that to me, they're scamming people, promising, riches, when the reality is that there is so much that goes into running an agency and it is so unbelievably difficult. And selling is just one piece of that puzzle. It's an important piece, obviously, but in this industry, sales is not going to fix all your problems. It does create more opportunities. But if you're not selling at the right price and you don't have the right strategy on how you're going to get the work done, how you're going to keep your clients happy, how you can consistently deliver results at scale, sales isn't really going to help you get out of that. Anyways, with that being said, I want to talk about the top 5 similarities that I saw in all these agency owners that are absolutely crushing it. They're legitimately doing 7 figures and multiple 7 figures. There's a lot of other things that are in common with these folks, but I picked out the top 5 because there are things that each of you guys can work on if you're not at this level. And even if you're at 7 figures or multiple 7 figures or 8 figures, these are all foundational principles that you should try and incorporate into your agency so that you can make more money. The agency is going to be more profitable, and you're going to have a lot more fun. So let's dive into the 5. So the first one is niching. Now, everybody has always heard this before. The riches are in the niches. I have one buddy, Ryan, who cracks me up because he was like, our niches are for bitches. I thought that was freaking hilarious. He's wrong, but it's still really funny. So the riches truly are in the niches of these 7-figure agencies and multiple 7-figure agency owners that I met. 100% of them are niche down. And even with our agencies that are doing really well, that have been our clients, 100% of them are niche down. Like, it's just the way that it goes. Like, you have to look at that and be like, maybe they are on to something when they say that you got to pick a niche. So you've heard this before. There's many different ways to go out and find a niche. I just say find the group of people or the industry that you can guarantee results for and that you've got proven track record of getting results for, and just start there. Or, like if you have an in with a particular industry, because maybe you in a previous life, you were a dentist and you just know all the dentists, like my niche are agency owners because I ran an agency. Like, I get that business, but whatever way you go about finding a niche, you have to find a niche. That's the number one thing with all of these folks and all the folks that are moving towards 7 figures and multiple 7 figures is they are all niche down. It just makes it so much easier, and makes it easier when going to find clients, because you can go to a conference and pick up all your clients for the year at one conference. It's easy, easier for marketing, of course, or like, let's say you want to write a book. You can write a book that's very specific to that industry. And it's also easier when it comes to fulfillment, because typically you can replicate the same process over and over and over. If you have clients that are all across the board and are not niche down, then you're kind of having to reinvent the wheel with every single client that falls outside of that core industry that you serve. So all of those people were niched. Most of them were able also to charge more money because of the niche. But, I did meet a couple people who were charging a little bit less. We have one of our clients that's, they charge around $1,500 a month, but they are so deep into that niche. So even though that monthly rate might seem low to some of you guys, they were able to make it work and the numbers pan out. And, they're doing, multiple millions of dollars a year. So that's number one, is the niching, right? You got to find the niches. The riches truly are in the niches. These men and women that I met are proof of that. Number 2 is productization. It's really hard to do. Trust me, I understand that. But all of these agency owners that I met, they're selling packages. So if you can just standardize your offering and say, these are the things that we do unbelievably well, and then you package those into A, B, and C option, it's going to make your life so much easier. It'll be really, really easy to sell those packages to the clients. The clients will understand what it is they're actually buying. And then on the fulfillment side, of course, you can build SOPs around fulfilling for each of those customers. Just by nature, like, custom solutions are really, really hard to scale. Like, it's really hard to do it. You're having to reinvent the wheel every time. A lot of the times you're having to find people to do this custom aspect of it. And like, think about it from other perspectives, like other companies in the world that are building custom homes that are truly doing that at scale. Are there companies that are building custom software solutions where they're truly able to do that at scale? I'm not saying that you can't make great money doing custom solutions, but if you really want to scale your agency and build a life where you have a lot more freedom and predictability, it's really hard to do it with custom solutions. But on the other hand, if you do productized solutions where everything is essentially standardized and it's done the same way every single time, it's way easier to scale that, both on sales, fulfillment, staffing, and recruiting and HR. Across the board, it just makes your life so much easier. So that's number 2, is basically the productization. Every single one of these agencies had productized services. Now, do they also have this is a little tip for you guys. You can have more customized options, but just make those as add-ons to your productized packages. That's number 2. So number 3 is all of these agencies are able to get clients. And on top of that, they are investing money to acquire customers. This is one of the ironies of agency folks, is that we're trying to get everybody to invest in advertising and marketing, and yet we don't do it for ourselves. We don't have established ad budgets. And so that's one thing that these folks have figured out, is they have an ad budget. They are aggressively investing in new client acquisition. They're running ads, they're going to events, they're speaking, they're constantly testing new offers and figuring out how to continually drive in leads and sales. I want to focus really on the events. So for 2 years, conventions were dead, right? We couldn't go anywhere because of COVID. Everything was locked down. So you couldn't do live events. And even I myself, I had kind of soured on live events in the marketing industry because to me, the marketing industry was saturated with people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. And so we would go, like our last conference that we did prior to COVID was Traffic and Conversion in 2019. And it was a nightmare because there was just an unbelievable amount of crazy fucking people that didn't have any money. So we didn't really get a good return on investment from that show. But now, as things are opening up, COVID really thinned out the herd. So if you didn't have a solid business, like most likely you went under. And so now a lot of these niched agencies that are doing really well is they're putting a lot of money behind their growth and going to these events. Going to conventions is a major part of every single one of their client acquisition strategies. So a buddy of mine that I met there, he's probably going to invest about $500,000 this year in going to conventions. Now you're probably asking yourselves, well, that's great. Well, here's the reality is that now he's doing close to 300,000 monthly recurring revenue. A year ago, prior to doing all these other things of niching down and productizing and so on and so forth, he was doing around 70,000 monthly recurring revenue. So if you're telling me that you can't do it because you're too small, that's nonsense, because he started doing it when he was much, much smaller. And, he continually is reinvesting and basically upping his game at all of these events. And in the big scheme of things, the niche that he's in, he's small potatoes. But by going to these events and investing $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 at one of the bigger conferences, now you're gaining that credibility. You're buying your ticket to the party and it's paying off. So I would highly recommend that if you're not looking at live events and specifically conventions, definitely look at doing that throughout the rest of 2022 and beyond, because it's a fantastic way that you're going to be able to grow your business. And everybody who's attending these events, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but the people that are attending the events that are paying money to be there, they have money to invest. So figure out ways that you can get in front of that audience. Number 4, you might think that you're unique because you're struggling with fulfillment and hiring and finding people. Well, it's the same. Like these bigger agencies that have achieved a certain level of success, that 7 figures, multiple 7 figures, they're still struggling with the same things that you are. The difference is that now that they're bigger, they're actually leapfrogging the smaller folks because they have more money to invest in better people. And as I've said many, many times before, talent is way more important in 2022 than technology. So these folks are able to invest in better people and they're building out a team of A players. They're going to kick everybody's ass. So money doesn't solve all your problems, right? Like sales doesn't solve all your problems. But if you have these other things in place and you have good margins and you're being profitable, and you have a niche, it does afford you the opportunity to go out there and build a team of A players. And that team of A players is really going to help you get through this year and beyond. Let's just call it an accelerated pace. You're going to be able to grow and solve bigger problems when you have better players. So that's the 4th one, is that while these folks are still struggling with the same fulfillment issues and the people issues that you are, they just have more budget because they're running a solid business. They have more budget to find people that are going to help them fix these issues. All right, so let's get into the 5th one. And this is really, really important because it's also kind of like something that people think that is just a natural path of growing, that as you grow and you bring on more customers, you're just going to end up losing more clients. Well, that's not the case. So these agencies, while they do have 200, 300, sometimes 500 clients, they're not losing those clients. They have figured out a way to consistently deliver results, even at scale, so that the clients are not churning. Not a single one of us had a churn rate over 5%. And that's really, really impressive, especially for agencies that are bigger. So there's a lot of things that go into that. Obviously, if you have more budget, you can invest in customer experience team members so that these folks can help ensure that clients are getting better results. If you're productized, you know how to deliver, you know how to create the deliverables and what needs to be done. If you're investing in marketing, you have a good flow of customers coming in to actually offset the clients that are going to be going out the door. You're always going to have clients canceling. I hate to break it to you. They're going to retire. They're going to go out of business. They're going to get bought out by somebody else. that element of churn is always going to be there no matter what. So like when you have the clients coming in, you don't have to worry about that as much. These agencies also have bigger teams. They have leaders to actually run the different departments that are inside the agency. But the bottom line is I want you to dismiss this idea that your churn rate is going to go up when you scale. That is not the case. And there's some agencies out there where these guys that I met, their agencies, they're churning less than 1% a month, and they've got hundreds of clients. So they're doing a lot of things right. And I'll kind of end with this is that, we created this philosophy called bridge, connect, and deliver. And I'll go give you the short version. Essentially, bridge means you need to have open lines of communication. You need to be communicating with your clients in real time. They need to know exactly who to contact and what to contact these people for. And that's the foundation. If you don't have open lines of communication consistently, and not just in the sales, it has to be on the fulfillment side, the operations. If you don't have that, everything's going to fall apart. Phase 2 is connect. So your clients will cancel if they don't think you give a shit about them. And if you're not communicating, that's the first way that you're telling them that you don't give a shit about them. So all of these agencies are connecting. Their clients know that they care about them and that they have their business best interest at heart and that they're never going to let these people down. That's connect, is establishing that level of trust. And the third is deliver. Deliver essentially means that you have to get results, that you have to do what you say you're going to do, that you hit deadlines, that you get them leads, that you get them conversions. If you do all three of those consistently, bridge, connect, and deliver, you will not lose clients. I'm telling you, you will not lose clients if you do bridge, connect, and deliver consistently. And that means across all your clients, that means all the time. All of these agencies that we met are doing bridge, connect, and deliver consistently. And that's why they're not losing customers. So with that being said, those are the 5 most common similarities that I saw amongst all these 7-figure and multi-7-figure agencies. So literally, listen to this episode over and over and over, because there's so many nuggets of gold in these 5 tips. Once you start to be able to once you can accomplish all 5 of these, your business, your agency, and your life are going to completely change for the better. So if you have any questions about this, of course, reach out to me and let me know. Other than that, have a wonderful day. See you on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean so much to me if you could share it with your friends, family, and basically anyone who will find the same value in this episode that you did. And to get the latest from me, then let's definitely connect on social media. You can go to Facebook, facebook.com/Dude Agency, or Instagram @dudeagency.io, or you can check us out on YouTube on our YouTube channel. And then, of course, you can always visit our website at dudeagency.io, where you can see all of our other episodes of Operation Agency Freedom. You can also register for any live trainings that we have going on how to run a highly profitable agency. And of course, you can see how we help digital agencies with the people, the processes, and the education so that they can take on more projects and scale profitably. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.